Today we're going to talk all about what a final walkthrough is and do you need one? Hey everyone, it's Lydia with the Goalish team, and let's talk final walkthroughs. Now, when you as a buyer in the state of Colorado purchase a home, you have the ability to do a final walkthrough. But what is it and is it necessary? That's what we're going to dive into today. First of all, a final walkthrough is the ability for you as a buyer to go into the home prior to closing and verify that the home is in the condition that you first saw it during your showing and even after your inspection. So you're going to walk into the home and make sure there's no new holes in the floor, the wall, or the ceiling. But really, most sellers aren't going to do that. So what are the things that we should actually be doing during the final walkthrough to make sure that you're utilizing your rights and getting a home that's in the condition that you expect it when it's yours? Okay, so here is kind of my little checklist that I share with all of our buyers that would be really good to do when you're doing your final walkthrough. First of all, I try to do it as close to closing as possible. Now, sometimes it works out that we can do it the morning of closing. Other times it has to be maybe the night before or a few days before. But namely what we're saying is maybe don't do it 2 weeks before closing. A lot can change, so the closer to closing is better. So you'll go into the home and you'll look around and literally make sure that everything looks the way it's supposed to. When it comes to the kitchen, maybe we can go ahead and test some of the appliances, like the oven, the cooktop, or the range, and make sure all the faucets and the sinks are working. I also check underneath the sink to make sure that there aren't any new leaks that maybe you didn't see or know of before. And this is a really good thing to walk through in the kitchen and basically do a mini inspection, make sure everything works the way it's supposed to. Open and close doors, cabinets, you name it. Just make sure that there are no new surprises. Okay, so we've done the kitchen, let's head to the bathrooms. Similar pieces to each of the bathrooms like the kitchen. Let's check the showers and the tubs and the sink faucets, make sure they're all working, not leaking in a new way that they weren't leaking before. Check underneath the sinks, and again, same thing, no new leaks. And again, we check the drawers and cabinets and make sure that they're functioning the way that they're supposed to. Another great thing to do and to bring to a final walkthrough is kind of a notepad or a checklist. You can even use the Notes app on your phone if you don't want a pad of paper and a pen. As you're going through your walkthrough, go ahead and make little notes of things that you probably know you need to do per the inspection, but you might forget. Let's face it, the inspection is like an 80-page report in some cases. So are most of you going to go ahead and read all the way through it and make sure that you do everything that the inspector said? Maybe. But just in case you're not one of those people, and I'm not one of those people, so I'm basically just talking to myself at this moment, it might be really prudent to have that notepad and paper and write down little checklists of things that you know you need to do, but you may have forgotten. Maybe it's sealing the tile grout in the shower. Maybe it's replacing a faucet that's a little loose. I mean, these little things that are good for homeownership are really good to do right when you move to the home because likely you'll forget about it later on. At least that's what I see when you go and sell your home later. Don't worry, you're not the only one. Again, I'm probably just preaching to the choir. A few more things to add to your list as you're doing your final walkthrough. Make sure as you're checking the faucets that you're checking for the cold water as well as the hot water. Essentially, we just want to make sure that the hot water heater is working. We also want to make sure that the furnace and or the AC are working. If it's summertime, you can obviously test for this and make sure that all of the vents are open and working and that cold air is coming through if the thermostat is set to a lower temperature. If it's winter time, then again, we just have to trust that the air conditioning or the swamp cooler are working the way that they're supposed to. Essentially, everything that you can check on the final walkthrough as that baby inspection, let's make sure that we can. Then let's go ahead and head outside. Let's make sure to check the garage doors, that they're working. If you do have a home that has a garage, we'll check the exterior doors, meaning the front door to the house, the back door. If there's a side door, check that too. Make sure it's opening, closing, locking, and there isn't tons of air coming through. And then finally, as you walk outside, just make sure to do a visual inspection of things like the siding, the roof. Again, no new problems. The best you can put your eyes on everything before it's fully yours, the better. And that's pretty much everything you need to worry about doing a final walkthrough. Now, if you do have a post-occupancy and you're not owning the home and moving in right away, you're just owning it and not moving in right away, then you can go ahead and do 2 final walkthroughs. One of them can be before closing, and then the other one can be upon possession. Right before you come in and drop your bags down, go ahead and check everything that we just talked about one more time. Again, when you take possession of the home, you drop your bags and it's finally yours. So before you do that, it might be good to be prudent and just verify that everything is the condition that you were expecting. It's much, much easier to ask the seller to address something without your bags being there and your clothes everywhere and your toothbrush hanging out. If the house is empty, then you can go ahead and say, hey, this doesn't look right. And I know because none of my stuff is here. Makes for a solid argument. Hopefully there will be no extra surprises and you'll be able to have a great walkthrough, fabulous closing, and wonderful possession. But again, it's great to be able to do your due diligence ahead of time. From everyone here at the Golish team, I'm Lydia Golish, and we can't wait for a happy and smooth walkthrough and move-in. Bye.